Good evening, everyone. So, today we are going to start with a new topic, Indus Valley Civilization. If you look at the history of civilizations in the world, then you will find that Indus Valley Civilization had two contemporary civilizations. There were two civilizations which can be said to be contemporary to Indus Valley Civilization. One was one was Mesopotamian civilization, and the other one was Egyptian civilization. So, Indus Valley civilization valley uh, of river Indus. And was it only river Indus? Was it only river Indus which was the backbone of this civilization, or uh, some of the sites have been found away from, or you can say some of these sites, they have been found beyond river Indus? Mesopotamian civilization, rivers Tigris and Euphrates in Iraq. Egyptian civilization, river Nile. But we are concerned with Indus Valley civilization, and time to time we'll be comparing with these two civilizations as well. We'll be also considering these two civilizations because they are very important, and there were some features which were common in all these civilizations which actually made them a civilization. So नीतीश, वैसे तो ये इंग्लिश बैच के लिए है, बट नॉनदलेस आप चाहें तो आप सुन सकते हैं, और बिल्कुल सुनिए, ये आपको हेल्प भी करेगा. Now, the very first thing which comes to one's mind is Indus civilization was an urban settlement. Remember, we have discussed Chalcolithic phase, and that is a pre-Harappan phase in our previous classes, and There we saw that some of the elements which were there in the pre-Harappan phase, they are present in the Harappan phase as well. But I just said Harappan phase. Why do we why do we call Indus civilization as Harappan civilization? Why not only Indus civilization? We also use the term Harappan civilization for Indus Valley civilization or the Indus civilization. We also use the term Harappan civilization. Why do we use the name Harappan civilization as well? Anyone? See, when the archaeological work was carried out on the sites of Indus civilization, the very first site which was excavated was that of Harappa. Hence, there is a habit of naming a civilization after the name of that particular place which was first excavated. Hence, the name Harappan civilization. Okay, so as we have seen that it was a totally urban setup, an urban settlement. It's remarkable to note that whatever features which we witness today in our cities, they were there during the time of Indus Valley civilization, and for past so many years, even after the passage of a long time, they have just continued. The continuity has been maintained, maybe because they were highly essential, but even in case of religious spheres, even in case of religion, the continuity is still there, that we will see. So, we will take it phase wise. Town planning. One of the most remarkable features of Indus civilization. Yes, this can definitely be said that town planning was one of the most remarkable features, or rather it would be best to say that there was no town in Indus Valley which was not planned, unlike some of the towns of today, almost all the towns of Indus Valley, they were planned. The very first thing, the city was the towns were divided into upper citadel and lower city. If anyone has any question, then obviously you can put forth, or you can just type your question, and I'll be able to see your question. Don't worry, your queries will be answered. So, any idea who all lived in the upper citadel and who all lived in the lower city? Anyone? अपर सिटाडेल में कौन रहता था और लोअर सिटी में कौन रहता था? So, residents of upper citadel were aristocrats, administrators, priests, then you can say important military officers, rich merchants. So these were the people who lived in the upper citadel of the city. Now, who were the people who lived in the lower city? Common people, soldiers, shopkeepers, small time merchants, common people. Then we have workers, the workers who worked in granary. They used to live in the lower city. Okay, by the way, may I know who all are present? Who all are watching this? Can I have the names, please? So, the towns were divided into upper citadel and lower city, and likewise we also know who were the classes of people who lived in each part of the town. Okay. So I'm rubbing it. Streets used to cut each other at 90 degrees, which you can see even today. The major arterial roads of our cities, and in fact even the streets, when they join the major arterial roads, they join at 90 degrees, they cut each other at 90 degrees. So this is one aspect which has continued from Indus civilization, and it continues till date. Then one another important feature was that uh, so lighting facility was there on the side of the roads, and additionally the roads were wide enough so that two bullock carts could pass each other completely at the same time. So two carts, they could cross each other simultaneously. So they were streets and roads were wide enough. That is, you can say 30 feet, 30 feet wide. The breadth was 30 feet, and that was enough to allow the bullock carts to pass each other simultaneously at the same time, same point of time. Another remarkable feature was the direction of flow of the winds. So the roads were constructed accordingly. They were made in such a manner that the winds, while when the winds used to flow, they could deposit the dirt or whatever waste they had, whatever the waste were on the street, they could be deposited on the street side, and the only job was to collect them and dispose them off. So they were constructed in such a manner. Now, this is what the streets were all about. But is town planning only about streets? Next, in town planning itself, we come across one more remarkable feature, that is housing. Houses were made in grid pattern. So let's take a look. Now this is the upper citadel. So we have granary over here. Houses, they were made in a, these are the barracks where workers used to live. This is the main street. Houses, they followed a grid pattern, which we can see even today. Now, one of the most remarkable features was the attention which they paid upon the good evening, Kishan. The attention which they paid towards the sanitation work. We'll be coming to sanitation work as well. So this is a granary, and near granary you could find around there were 6 huge or large platforms of stones. All the houses, they were connected to the main drain. Main drain was covered and it used to flow below the main street. So all the houses, they were connected to the main drain by smaller drains, and the main drain, having collected all the waste water, it used to deposit everything outside the city walls. Okay. Second most important point is burnt bricks were used in the construction of houses. Now, burnt bricks. Did we see burnt bricks during the pre-Harappan phase? Did we come across any example of burnt bricks being used in the pre-Harappan era? Or was it the first time we were seeing burnt bricks being used? See, anything which is being used in a particular during a particular phase or in a particular civilization, it might not be an outcome of it might not be a sudden outcome or sudden resultant of any sudden happenings. Rather, the thing is that it must have been in practice prior to the beginning of that phase, and slowly over the passage of time, even before the start of one particular phase, it developed and people worked upon it. It further got refined, and finally it acquired the form which we are seeing in this phase. So burnt bricks, they were obviously used at some places in pre-Harappan era. Okay. Now, one of the most surprising fact is that dimensions were 1:2:3, both for the bricks used in construction of houses as well as the bricks used in construction of outer walls, or you can say protective walls. Now, Indus civilization was highly advanced as compared to all its contemporary civilizations. Why do we say that? Because in none of the contemporary civilizations of Indus Valley do we find any proof of the usage of bond bricks. In none of the civilizations, that is Mesopotamian civilization and Egyptian civilization, none of them used burnt bricks. Rather, they used dried mud bricks. Dried mud bricks were used in large scale in both these civilizations. Okay. So, the dimensions we have discussed. Now, another remarkable feature which we see to date as well, I mean the common houses which we say houses were mostly two-storied. They were two-storied houses plus windows did not open towards the street, and additionally entrance to the house was either from the back alley or side alley. Now, why would this be the case that windows they did not open in the front and the entrance was when the windows they did not open towards the street and entrance was not in the front. Rather, entrance was from back alley or side alley. Why would they construct a house in such a manner wherein the entrance was not from the front? Anyone? घर में घुसने का रास्ता फ्रंट से नहीं था, बल्कि या तो साइड से था या टुवर्ड्स द बैक था. Why would anyone construct a house like that? ऐसा घर क्यों बनाएंगे? और ना ही खिड़कियां सड़क की ओर खुलती थी. ऐसा क्यों होगा? Anyone? See, mainly it was done keeping in mind the privacy of the people living in the house. So, in order to respect the privacy, it was the houses were constructed in such a manner. Now, what did the houses have? There was a courtyard, and which we still have in villages, angan, with rooms built on the fringes of the courtyard. Now, what was the importance of this courtyard? Uh, Food was generally prepared in courtyard. Additionally, the houses contained a well, place to preserve firewood, a toilet and bathroom, in some cases, and additional room for the guests. Okay. Now, however, the point to be noted is that though we have discussed that uh, none of the houses had front entrances, but in some places like Surkotada, uh, Dholavira, Lothal, we also find few houses which had front entrances. Most likely these houses, they were not they mainly acted as shops, because shops, they need to have entrances from the front. Apart from having front entrances, a board like, or you can say an advertisement board like structure was also found near those houses, which testify to the fact that those houses were mainly used for trading purposes. So, the houses which were generally used for trading purposes, they had, and all of them had entrance from the front rather than from back alley or side alley. Okay, so, and generally courtyard was an important place where the family used to sit together, spend time together. Then the food was prepared in the courtyard itself, and the rooms where the families used to sleep, they were constructed on the fringes of that courtyard. Okay. Sanitation. Now, sanitation was one feature which Indus people looked, uh, took care of, and they were particularly good at it. All the houses were connected to the main drain. As I have already mentioned, main drain through smaller drains were there which used to connect all the houses to the main drain. Additionally, burnt bricks or a stone slab. Now, surprisingly, this elaborate feature and this very crucial feature is not to be found in either of these two civilizations, Mesopotamian civilization and Egyptian civilization. They lacked a very developed sense of sanitation, or you can say they lacked a very developed sanitary system. In none of the two civilizations we find regular drains, or we find the cases wherein houses were attached to houses were connected to the main drain, or in and even in some of the cities the main drains, they did not exist at all. Yes, this was the case this is the case which has been observed in both the civilizations. Now, please concentrate at this pointer. Concentrate on this point. The drains were covered by burnt bricks or a stone slab. We in the present times we cover our drains in the cities with a concrete slab. Isn't it similar to the stone slabs which must have been used by the Harappans? Now, main drain used to run below the major arterial street or road. Okay. Toilet and bathroom, I have already mentioned that all the houses, they used to have toilet and bathroom. Additionally, they had well as well. But one remarkable thing is public toilets were also constructed, just like the present day public toilets which are constructed on the roadsides. Yes. Good evening, Priti. Good evening, Prabhat. It's just like the present day public toilets which are constructed on the roadside. And you can say that some proof has been found in case of both these civilizations, wherein we see that public toilets were constructed or they were in prominence, they were used in both these civilizations as well. Okay, so do we have anything else in case of sanitation? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll keep it till here today. We'll keep it till here. Okay, and next class we'll proceed from sanitation. However, I won't say that we have finished town planning fully. We have finished 2 or 3 important aspects of town planning, and I have already stated how I will be dealing with Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so we'll be covering the remaining portions in the next few classes. Thank you. This is it for today. Thank you. Thank you.